Amid growing fears of a wider and more volatile conflict spreading across the Middle East, the United States has begun making renewed diplomatic overtures toward Iraq in a bid to stabilize the region. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a significant phone conversation with Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani on January 25, focusing largely on regional security and mutual cooperation. During the call, Rubio brought up Iraq's increasingly close partnership with neighboring Iran, highlighting Washington's concerns over Baghdad's deepening ties with Tehran. He also reportedly warned Prime Minister al-Sudani against allowing Iran to exert excessive influence over Iraq's domestic and foreign policies at a time of escalating regional tensions. What makes this discussion particularly notable is that it came only days after the United States announced the completion of its full military withdrawal from Iraqi territory. The U.S. State Department statement said, quote, "The Secretary commended the government of Iraq's initiative and leadership in expediting the transfer and detention of ISIS terrorists to secure facilities in Iraq, following recent instability in northeast Syria." The Secretary and Prime Minister discussed ongoing diplomatic efforts to ensure countries rapidly repatriate their citizens in Iraq, bringing them to justice. The Secretary and Prime Minister also discussed Iraq's ongoing deliberations to form a government, emphasizing their shared commitment to ensuring that Iraq can fully realize its potential as a force for stability, prosperity, and security in the Middle East. The Secretary emphasized that a government controlled by Iran cannot successfully put Iraq's own interests first, keep Iraq out of regional conflicts, or advance the mutually beneficial partnership between the United States and Iraq, unquote. In a parallel move, Washington has also transferred several ISIS detainees to Iraqi custody, an action that came shortly after Iran accused the U.S. of plotting terror operations in the region. Tehran had alleged that extremist elements were committing gruesome, ISIS-like crimes, including beheadings, during the recent wave of violent anti-government protests within Iran. The transfer of detainees followed the end of a tense 4-day ceasefire between Syrian government forces and the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF. According to the U.S. Army, the ISIS prisoners were relocated from the heavily guarded Hasaka facility in northeast Syria to a secure and undisclosed location inside Iraq. If fully implemented, Washington's broader effort could eventually lead to the relocation of as many as 7,000 ISIS detainees from Syria, according to a report by Reuters. This major transfer operation came in the wake of the rapid collapse of the Kurdish-led SDF in several key territories across northeastern Syria. It's important to remember that the Kurdish Syrian Democratic Forces had long been a crucial U.S. ally and played a vital role in the fight against the Islamic State over the past decade. Now, with their retreat, there is growing uncertainty about the fate of the detention centers and prisons that the SDF had previously been guarding under U.S. supervision. Earlier in January, nearly 1,500 ISIS detainees managed to escape from the Shaddadi prison complex, located in an area once controlled by the SDF forces. In response, Syrian government troops recaptured dozens of the escaped militants on January 19, though many remain unaccounted for amid the chaos. The U.S. Admiral said, quote, "We are closely coordinating with regional partners, including the Iraqi government. And we sincerely appreciate their role in ensuring the enduring defeat of ISIS," unquote. Meanwhile, Reuters reports that the U.S. has privately warned several senior Iraqi politicians that they could face economic sanctions if they continue deepening political or financial ties with Iran. Washington has made it clear that these sanctions would be automatically triggered if Iran-backed armed groups are given cabinet positions or formal roles in Iraq's next government. This move underscores the Trump administration's ongoing campaign to curb the political and military influence of Iran-linked organizations throughout Iraq and the wider region. For Tehran, however, Iraq remains a crucial economic lifeline, helping Iran keep its struggling economy afloat by using Iraqi banks and financial networks to bypass U.S. sanctions. Adding to the growing military presence in the region, the U.S. aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln arrived in Middle Eastern waters on January 25, according to multiple reports. In a swift response, Iran issued a new threat, stating it would not hesitate to strike and sink the American warship with precision missiles if it deemed any moves by the U.S. as provocations. Earlier, Donald Trump had publicly warned that the U.S. might attack Iran's leadership if the crackdown on anti-government protesters in the country continued. However, the president later appeared to tone down his rhetoric, saying that Tehran had halted the planned execution of protesters, a move he described as a positive sign.
25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.